Hello and welcome. The webinar will begin in a couple of minutes as we allow time for folks to join. Hello and welcome. Today we are presenting Delivering Qualified Leads to Sales Faster. Before we begin, just a few reminders. Today's presentation is being recorded. If you don't wish to be recorded, you may disconnect now. If you have questions, please click on the Q&A option at the bottom of your screen in Zoom. We'll answer as many questions as possible during the presentation. There will also be time at the end for additional questions. So again, feel free to use that Q&A option. And you will receive an email with a link to a recording of this webinar tomorrow. And now, let me introduce today's presenters. We've got Alexis Buitrago, who is a senior analyst for Catalent Pharma Solutions, a global provider of drug delivery technologies, development, and drug manufacturing. She has over 10 years of experience streamlining and overseeing the allocation of prospects and lead generation. And say hello, Alexis. Great, thank you. Then we've got Linda David, who is a senior consultant and director of customer success at Forethought Marketing with over 15 years of experience in marketing automation. She's an original Eloqua long before the Oracle acquisition. And while at Eloqua, Linda held senior project management positions, field enablement, and developed training and certification for employees and partners. So many of you are probably familiar with Linda. And now, without further ado, I'll go ahead and turn over the reins to Alexis.
Hello, and thank you for joining. Welcome to our lead record journey. So here we use Eloqua as our marketing automation platform, and this is where we upload all of our list uploads. And this is where our contacts are updated, leads are created, campaign members are created, as well as what is unique for our industry, our marketing prospects, which are then all flowed through to Salesforce, our CRM. So previously, we used to receive lists from various media vendors, webinars, trade shows, content syndication, upwards of about 10 to 15 lists per week. And prior, we would receive, there would be many things that we need to do for pre-processing. It would take a lot of time from taking the data from one file and having to, from one file format and having to put it into a usable file format, such as updating proper case, removing special characters, taking out extra spaces, correcting country names, updating email address formats, creating short descriptions for our sales team by using formulas to concatenate multiple fields, standardizing dates, updating and adding in missing data so that it wouldn't be rejected by Eloqua. And then after formatting the entire file for us, we would then have to divide it into two files, one for marketing qualified leads. Then the second half of the file, which we're not quite ready yet to go to our sales team, would then need to be have campaign members created for them, and then also sent over to our nurture stream. So then that would require a whole additional template to be completed in order to capture and create external activities for them within Eloqua. So there was multiple files being generated. It would take over 1 to 2 weeks, even monthly sometimes, depending on the size of the files being received. There were many, many, many pain points. For the process was about a 9-page SOP, and it took well over 2 days to complete if I myself was out and someone else needed to complete the process on their own. It was nearly impossible. The leads grew very cold before sales could even reach them. There was just way too many steps for anyone to get to them. And then each error would just require an extensive amount of manual research to correct. The troubleshooting was a huge challenge because as you would put in a file and you would receive the errors, you would not know how many errors or what the error exactly was. So then now it was time to troubleshoot and dig in and try to figure out what the error was.
So and Alexis, I remember you coming to me many times after you performed an upload and asking, where did my lead go? Because it wasn't appearing in Salesforce. So how much time would you spend troubleshooting?
Oh my, it would take, sometimes it could be 1 to 2 days to a week. And at times I would not be able to figure it out at all. Hence why we would then come to Linda to try to figure out, okay, where did this go? Why did it not make it through? And it was a constant battle of trying to figure out, where did this go?
Yes, I remember those days.
So then Linda and I, so after Linda has heard many times of us calling her and constantly looking to troubleshoot, we had to come to a more efficient way for this process to be done, because we couldn't always be reactive looking for a way of troubleshooting and wasting so many hours, work hours, looking for all these errors. So Linda came to us and said, well, we have an app for that. And this, we sat down and we came together and collaborated to customize all of our requirements for this upload wizard implementation. So our requirements were, we needed to automate the pre-processing, so normalizing our key fields, maintaining high quality of our data hygiene, because as you know, many vendors send over tons of junk data. So we really wanted to maintain the quality of the data that we're receiving. Single uploads. So now we wanted to make sure that instead of having multiple uploads for one file, that there would be only one upload. And now, as well as being able to have a detailed error reporting, so that we were able to have a root cause analysis. So we were able to identify what the issues were when an error was received. So this was really high on our list when we came to Linda and came up with our high priorities for our implementation. So now that we are using the Eloqua upload wizard, the magic as I call it, we receive our files from our various vendors. And it's literally, we receive the file and there's no more pre-processing of the file. The upload wizard takes care of all formatting, normalizing, and there's one list upload. So the marketing qualified leads and nurture all happen within one upload. So there's no longer a need to separate out my different uploads for external activities, nurture. It's all one upload and it's seamless. So then now once it's uploaded, I'm able to see, I receive a notification and then it tells me how many exactly were accepted records, rejected, how many were hard bounces, suppressed records, how many were prospects created, again, which are unique to our company, and how many campaign members. And these are all various field values that can be customized to your unique needs. And then now, rather than 2 to 3 weeks, now our average time is within 1 to 2 days. So sales is definitely getting a value here of getting their leads to them much faster. So again, this has really extremely, I cannot tell you enough how much time has been saved. It's increased the value of time. The fully automated pre-processing and enrichment has saved so much time. And now it allows us to have, gives us back valuable time to now not only just push data into the system, but now it allows us to be able to analyze the data that we're receiving, analyze the quality of the data that we're receiving, analyze the different attributes of the data that we're receiving. So if we want to analyze lead preferences, groupings, number of new leads versus existing leads, country of origin, the horizon is just very large of the different ways that we can now dissect and analyze, and just we have so much time available to now really dig into the data and leads that we have in our system. And now we, along with the upload wizard, we needed a way to better track and analyze the uploads. So not only were we able to push in all these uploads seamlessly, now we're actually able to track them and have the data better captured. So in a click of a button, we're able to see the number of leads processed, new leads versus existing, bounced emails, number of uploaded over time, the grouping results. For us, we have a qualifying question results, specific vendors, lead filtering, date filtering. There's many different options you can see here on the quick snapshot. This is all customized, and you work with your representative to see how you want it customized to fit your needs. But this has been highly, highly valuable to us and the team here. So just to go over some major benefits, as I've mentioned before, we have extremely reduced our time with pre-processing. I cannot emphasize enough the amount of time that I used to spend on hours, endless hours, on updating and working on these files to get them in a good enough condition in order to get them into the system. And now it has gone from weeks to just a few hours in order to get these leads into our sales people's hands. The error reporting, enabling to be able to better troubleshoot. And now we're not only able to troubleshoot and update right away and the errors and push them right back into the system and get them accepted right away. So now, again, hours, now within minutes, we're able to correct that, have corrective action. The visibility of being able to see when a vendor is providing garbage data, if they're giving us junk emails, hard bounce backs, duplicate emails. So now we're able to pinpoint exactly who those people are and what they're sending us over. And we can now use a dashboard to also highlight that performance and send that over and show them, you know, over time, those analytics. Thank you so much. And hand it over to Linda.
Thanks, Alexis. Yes, it was quite a process. Even preparing for this webinar, we were remembering the before days and almost bringing back nightmares of the exhaustive, intensive process of list uploads and the many, many hours spent chasing down records. So really happy that you're getting so much value out of both the upload wizard and the dashboard. So I'm now going to do a demo of the upload wizard. So it is accessible directly from Eloqua in this cloud menu when you first log in. So I have it preloaded here. So you start, well, you'll see this wizard looks a little somewhat similar to the Eloqua upload wizard or the standard Eloqua upload process. So it definitely is a best practice to add any of your lists to a shared list in Eloqua. So here we can choose to add to a new shared list and give it a name. I'm going to spell this out. We want to choose a folder, so keep everything organized. So we have a testing area that I'm going to do that. If there was an existing list that I wanted to add this to, I could check the little box and start typing, and it's going to start pulling existing shared lists by the name. So the type ahead search. But I'm going to go ahead and create it in the testing area. The next step is to choose the file. So I have my file ready to go here and upload. So now we map the data. One of the features of the upload wizard is that if you have multiple tabs, so I know Alexis with your template, there would be other tabs that have might have other things on them, and so you can pick which tab from that source file that you want to upload. We're of course going to link to the contact or identify the contact using the email address field. The upload wizard is going to automatically match the target fields to Eloqua contact fields if they exactly match, if the source field or source file exactly matches. So you can see that I have all of these matching. Product I'm going to skip because we're not going to bring that into the contact record. We do have the different options. So if you want to use the default that's set on the Eloqua contact field for whether the field gets updated or not, or if you want to set it to always update, you have that flexibility here. And then when I save mapping, go on to the next item. So this is where the magic happens. So there's modules that are available. I'm going to start with the contact field type validation. So these are just a few of the types of validation that we can do. For this upload, I'm going to validate the date because I do have a couple of date fields on my import file. We can see if the value is going to truncate, if it's going into a large text character or a large text field. Make sure if it's a numeric that it is actually a number, so it doesn't get rejected by Eloqua and you have to go search for it. And then text. So validate that it's not going to truncate if you're uploading to a standard text field that only supports 100 characters. So I'm going to save that. There's many other types of validation, as Alexis mentioned. We built into their upload wizard, proper casing a number of different fields, also validating pick lists against pick lists in Eloqua. So the country field, for example, because if that was the lead is going over to Salesforce and the country doesn't match, it's going to get rejected. There were some other fields like their qualifying questions that had to validate that those were on a list of accepted values. We could do data appends. We can look at certain fields on the import file. If you had buying horizon, for example, and if that falls into where it matches a certain value, we can then populate other fields with other values. So if you want to send for lead assignment, we can sort of update those fields behind the scenes. So the possibilities are really endless when it comes to the validation. Through this one upload, I'm going to update or create contacts, and I could also select a custom object to add this to. In Catalent's case, they're uploading to 2 different custom objects, campaign members all the time. So that's if there's a value in the Salesforce campaign ID field. So that's part of the magic behind the scenes that happens. And then prospect custom object only gets created if there's certain criteria that's met. So it's actually creating custom objects in 2 different records. Here, I'm going to choose the custom object that I want to add to. It's doing a lookup, pulls back and knows, okay, this is the email address column. This is the unique identifier column. So it's making sure that I have those mapped. And then I can add mapping for the additional fields that I want to put into this custom object. So I only have 4. You can see 2 of them are date fields, product, purchase date, renewal date, and status. We can set the update rule type. And then if I realized that I had another mapping that I didn't need, I can delete that, but I do want to have that mapping there. I'll save that. And the last step is the notification email. So it automatically populates my email address that's set up as the Eloqua user. I can have additional email addresses that the notification is sent to, and upload is in process. So it comes back to the screen. So you're able to do another upload. You heard Alexis mention that they'll get 10 to 15 lists a week. So it's just, very straightforward, complete one upload, continue with the next upload. The notification that you receive is quite detailed. So I received this earlier for an upload that I did. I can see how many rows in the file, how many records were imported. So 1 record is missing. There are 13 contacts created, 7 updated, 1 was rejected. So we'll find out shortly why that contact was rejected. And then if it was an outright failure that the upload wizard wasn't able to process, we'll see that reflected here as well. I have the name of the shared list that the records are in. I have a good, easy link to access the files that were, or the records that were rejected, which I'm going to share shortly. And then with the custom object import, I can see how many custom objects were created. So this file that I uploaded, it had some records that already existed in the custom object. So there were 7 updated, 13 created, and because there were 13 created, those 13 were mapped. So this one rejected one that wasn't successful going through the upload. This is the file that gets generated. So from that link, it downloads directly to my my computer. So it has the reason or the message, and because I selected to validate the date format, this purchase date field is invalid for what's supported and what Eloqua is expecting. So instead of it being in month, day, year, it was set as day and then month and then year. So we have a reason, and if there are multiple records rejected for different reasons, then you would see those messages here. All I have to do now is fix the date value, and I can upload this file directly. So the last piece that I'll cover is Eloqua has the ability to turn off user access to perform regular contact uploads. So normally if you're uploading directly into Eloqua, you go to the contact section, you select upload, this upload button. So that can be turned off when you have the upload wizard in place. And then there's additional permissions that are granted to the upload wizard. So only certain people have access and are able to perform uploads. So it prevents, anybody with Eloqua access to be able to do uploads, definitely maintains your data integrity and data hygiene to make sure that the data going in is nice and clean. And we do have a new version that's coming out in the new year that has more flexibility built in. So I showed you some of those modules. That was just a snapshot or just a few of additional pieces and functionality that we're going to be introducing in the new year. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Richard. Sorry, Al, and we're going to have some questions.
Thank you, Alexis and Linda. Yeah, we'll definitely now proceed to the question and answer portion of today's webinar. And if you have questions, please click on the Q&A option in Zoom or enter them in the comments on LinkedIn Live. Looks like we have a few questions that populated throughout the webinar itself. I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one here, which is, wouldn't lead scoring take care of MQLs versus leads?
So I'm actually going to answer that one. So when we were putting together the design for the upload wizard, and you heard Alexis mention how there's multiple files that needed to be generated before. So there's very specific criteria for what leads get sent over to Salesforce immediately versus what leads needed to go into nurture. So in the past, that was handled by doing the separate uploads. And then with the upload wizard, it creates the marketing prospects, which is their version of a marketing qualified lead. And so is by virtue of creating a record in that custom object, then that's how those MQLs got sent over to Salesforce. All records, as soon as they entered the system, go through the regular programs to create update leads, update contacts in Salesforce. But Catalent had an additional step to create that custom object record for marketing prospects. And so having the upload wizard manage that behind the scenes allows Alexis still to only upload one file.
Great, thank you for that. Another question that came in was, sorry if I've missed it. How do we navigate to the upload wizard, or do we need to install an app for this?
Good question. I'll take that one as well. So once the upload wizard license is granted to the Eloqua instance, then you'll see that menu or that option in the cloud menu. And that's where users would access it. And as I mentioned, the way that we set up the Eloqua users, there's a Federation ID that we need to populate in order for users to have access to the upload wizard. So there's no app installed. It's us granting you access to the license, and then you see the cloud menu option.
Yeah, and Linda, I know you spoke to this during the webinar itself. However, you might want to touch on the upload wizard in general is very customizable to a specific environment and a use case per client. So just in general, it's best to reach out to us so we can walk through the specific use case in your organization, and there are a lot of options which Linda touched on. So I don't know.
Yeah, and the new version that's coming out in the new year will be quite robust. So it certainly can be used off the shelf. But if you, like Catalent, have a number of different steps and different processes, different objects, different fields that you want populated or created, then that's additional customization that we build into the upload wizard. And our technical team they're pros when it comes to that.
Great, thank you. Another question that came in was, are you receiving more lists today than you were before using the upload wizard?
Yes, actually, the volume of lists has increased tremendously, but due to having the upload wizard, we're able to tackle those seamlessly and with ease. So had I not had the upload wizard, they would probably take me years to complete. So it came in record timing now that we have the upload wizard.
Great. And another question is, how do you address errors with uploads, and do you see fewer errors over time?
Yes, that's a great question. So we, as I receive errors in the file and we receive the notification, I am able to update a lookup table or pick list with the correct value. So I use the value received as well as the correct value updated into Eloqua on the pick list or lookup table. I then update, take the file and re-upload it, and now it will forever be uploaded without rejection. So now the process has definitely, the troubleshooting has minimized tremendously, and the solution, the resolution is much more easier.
Great, thanks. And last question that I'm seeing here is, was it hard to come up with the list of requirements for the upload wizard?
Well, for us, it was actually pretty easy, being that we did have a 9-page SOP that I put together. So that was pretty outlined for the team, for Linda and I, and the team here to put together our implementation plan. It was pretty drawn out for us.
Great. And that's all we have in terms of questions. Wanted to thank everyone for attending today's webinar. And as a reminder, tomorrow you will receive an email with a link of today's webinar's recording. You're also invited to take a short 5-question survey after we close. Just let us know how we did and how we can improve in the future. And then if you would like to speak with someone about the products and services mentioned today, please send your questions to info@forethoughtmarketing.com or contact your account director, and we'd be happy to help. Also, one last point, everyone who attended today will also receive a link to request a free personalized gift. So With that, thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you the next time. Thank you.
Thank you.